Some relationships slowly eat away at your sense of self, your confidence, and even your happiness. Yet most men don't realize it until it's too late. You might think love should feel effortless, but what if the constant tension, the arguments over small things, or the way you're always on edge isn't normal? What if it's a warning sign that the person you care about is slowly draining you rather than building you up? Toxic relationships don't always show themselves with obvious red flags. Sometimes it's subtle, the little digs in your conversations, the constant need for control, or the way your feelings are dismissed. It starts small, almost invisible, until one day you catch yourself feeling exhausted, anxious, and questioning your worth. That's the danger. By the time you notice, you're already deeply entangled. Men are often told to tolerate, to be patient, to work things out. But there's a difference between compromise and losing yourself entirely. Toxic partners thrive on patterns that make you doubt your instincts, guilt you into staying, or manipulate your emotions so you can't see clearly. And the worst part? You can still love someone deeply while they are toxic. It doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. Understanding the signs early is not just about saving a relationship. It's about saving yourself. This is about learning to recognize when love is no longer healthy, when passion has turned into pressure, and when caring too much starts to hurt more than it heals. In the next sections, we'll break down 8 clear signs that a relationship has crossed into toxic territory, and what they reveal about the real dynamics at play. If you see yourself in any of these, pay attention. Ignoring them could cost you more than just your peace of mind. 1. You constantly feel drained or anxious. One of the first signs a relationship has become toxic is the way it starts to consume your energy. You might notice that after spending time with your partner, instead of feeling happy, calm, or supported, you feel worn out, tense, or even on edge. This isn't just stress from occasional arguments. It's a lingering emotional weight that follows you throughout the day. Your mind is always alert, scanning for what might trigger conflict or disappointment. Over time, this constant tension starts to affect your mood, sleep, and even your confidence. Men often dismiss this feeling, telling themselves that all relationships have ups and downs, or that stress is normal. But when anxiety becomes your default state around someone you care about, it's a signal that the dynamic is unhealthy. Emotional exhaustion isn't a natural side effect of love. It's a symptom of imbalance, where one person consistently drains the other emotionally. This type of constant tension can show up in subtle ways. Maybe your partner complains every time you need space, leaving you feeling guilty for simply existing. Maybe small disagreements escalate quickly, and you leave conversations with a knot in your stomach. Or perhaps you're always anticipating criticism or judgment, which keeps you from speaking freely or being yourself. These patterns erode the joy and security a healthy relationship should provide. For example, imagine a man who looks forward to weekend plans, expecting to relax and enjoy time together. Instead, every interaction is peppered with complaints, subtle digs, or passive-aggressive remarks. By the end of the weekend, he feels more anxious than refreshed, like he's been carrying a heavy weight rather than enjoying the connection. Over time, this accumulation of emotional stress can spill into other areas of life. Work performance, friendships, and even self-esteem can take a hit. The key here is awareness. Feeling drained or anxious around someone should never be ignored. Relationships should energize and support you, not leave you constantly questioning yourself or worrying about the next conflict. Recognizing this pattern early is crucial because it gives you the power to decide whether to address the issues, set boundaries, or step away before it causes long-term harm. 2. Your opinions and feelings are regularly dismissed. In a healthy relationship, your thoughts, feelings, and opinions matter. You should feel heard, respected, and taken seriously, even when your partner disagrees with you. In a toxic relationship, however, these basic foundations disappear. One of the most damaging signs is when your partner consistently dismisses what you think or feel, making you question your own perspective. Over time, this can leave you feeling invisible, unimportant, and even unsure of yourself. This dismissal isn't always blatant. Sometimes it's subtle. A quick eye roll, a "you're overreacting" comment, or changing the subject whenever you bring up something meaningful. Other times, it's more direct, like belittling your ideas or interrupting you mid-sentence. No matter the method, the effect is the same. You begin to feel that your voice doesn't matter in the relationship. And the more this happens, the more you start doubting whether your feelings are valid, which slowly chips away at your self-esteem. For men, this can be particularly confusing. Society often tells men to tough it out or don't be sensitive. So when your emotions are dismissed, you might push them aside, thinking it's your responsibility to accommodate the other person. But that mindset allows the pattern to continue. Feeling unheard should never be normalized. Respect is a non-negotiable part of any healthy partnership. Consider a situation where a man expresses concern about financial decisions, hoping to have an open conversation. Instead of a discussion, his partner brushes him off with remarks like, "You worry too much," or "Just trust me, I know what I'm doing." Over time, he begins to hesitate sharing thoughts altogether, fearing judgment or ridicule. The relationship shifts from a space of collaboration to a place where one person's perspective dominates, leaving the other feeling powerless. The emotional toll of being dismissed can be profound. It doesn't just affect your confidence in the relationship. It can influence how you communicate outside of it, eroding trust in your own judgment. Awareness is the first step. Recognizing that being constantly dismissed is toxic empowers you to set boundaries, demand respect, and decide whether the relationship is supporting or hindering your personal growth. In short, relationships should make you feel valued, not invisible. If your opinions and feelings are regularly brushed aside, it's a clear signal that the dynamic is unhealthy and needs to be addressed before it starts shaping how you see yourself in all areas of life. 3. Manipulation and guilt. Our daily tools. A relationship should feel like a partnership, where both people support and respect each other. In a toxic relationship, however, manipulation and guilt become constant tactics to control your actions and emotions. When this happens, you start to feel like nothing you do is ever enough, and your sense of freedom begins to shrink. It's a subtle but powerful way your partner can dominate the relationship without an outright argument or fight. Manipulation doesn't always come in the form of overt demands. Sometimes it's disguised as concern, love, or even humor. A partner might twist situations to make you feel responsible for their mood, their happiness, or even their mistakes. They might use guilt to push you into decisions you don't want to make or to silence you when you try to speak up. Over time, these patterns make you question your own instincts and priorities. Instead of making choices freely, you're constantly calculating how your actions will be received, which is exhausting and unfair. For example, imagine a man wants to spend a weekend with friends. Instead of simply discussing it, his partner responds with remarks like, "If you really loved me, you'd stay home with me," or "I guess I'm just not important to you." Suddenly, an innocent plan turns into a guilt-laden dilemma where he feels responsible for her feelings, even though he hasn't done anything wrong. The result is confusion, frustration, and a creeping sense that his needs don't matter. The danger of daily manipulation is how normal it starts to feel. You may even begin to apologize for things that aren't your fault, make excuses for your partner's behavior, or suppress your own desires to keep the peace. Over time, this erodes your confidence, your independence, and your ability to trust your own judgment. You may not even notice how much control has been shifted into the other person's hands until it's deeply entrenched. Recognizing this pattern is critical. Manipulation and guilt are not signs of love or care. They are tools to maintain power in the relationship. Understanding this allows you to establish boundaries, protect your emotional well-being, and make decisions that honor your own needs. In any healthy partnership, both people should feel free to make choices without being trapped by guilt or emotional coercion. If you're constantly walking on eggshells or adjusting your behavior to avoid conflict, it's time to acknowledge the toxicity before it reshapes how you see yourself and your worth. Fourth, jealousy and possessiveness, control. The relationship. Jealousy in small doses is normal. It's human to feel protective of someone you care about. But when jealousy becomes controlling, constant, or unreasonable, it signals a deeper problem. In a toxic relationship, possessiveness doesn't come from concern. It comes from insecurity, fear, and a desire to dominate. Instead of trust, there's suspicion. Instead of freedom, there's restriction. You may notice that even innocent interactions with friends, colleagues, or family are questioned, scrutinized, or criticized. Conversations are monitored, phone messages or social media activity become sources of tension, and spending time apart is treated as a threat. The sense of being free slowly disappears, replaced by anxiety over what could trigger the next accusation or conflict. The subtle, everyday pressure starts to shape your behavior. You might avoid reaching out to certain people, skip events, or downplay your own achievements to prevent conflict. Over time, the relationship becomes less about connection and more about control. The constant vigilance and second-guessing are emotionally exhausting and can leave you doubting your instincts, wondering if you're overreacting, or even blaming yourself for their insecurity. Toxic possessiveness also damages the emotional balance of the relationship. Love should be reassuring and empowering, but when jealousy dominates, it creates tension and fear instead of comfort. You may find yourself walking on eggshells, avoiding topics that could spark suspicion, or minimizing your own needs to maintain peace. Every action is filtered through the lens of potential judgment or accusation, which gradually chips away at your confidence and sense of self. Even though jealousy may be framed as care or concern, when it becomes controlling, it's a form of emotional manipulation. Trust should be mutual, not one-sided. When someone attempts to control your interactions, isolate you from others, or use fear to keep you close, it signals that the relationship is no longer healthy. Recognizing this pattern is crucial for preserving your well-being. A relationship should allow both partners to feel safe, valued, and free, not trapped under constant scrutiny. If you feel monitored, restricted, or guilty for simply interacting with the world around you, it's a strong indication that jealousy and possessiveness have crossed a line, turning what should be love into emotional confinement. Fifth, constant criticism, masquerading as advice. In every healthy relationship, partners give each other feedback in a way that helps both grow. But in a toxic relationship, what looks like advice often hides something far more damaging: constant criticism. When your partner routinely points out flaws, undermines your choices, or critiques your behavior under the guise of helping, it chips away at your confidence and makes you doubt your judgment. This kind of criticism can be subtle at first. Maybe it's a comment about how you dress, the way you speak, or how you handle responsibilities. Over time, it becomes more pervasive, touching nearly every aspect of your life. You start noticing that no matter what you do, it's never quite right. Even achievements can be minimized, accomplishments belittled, or decisions second-guessed. The intention behind the words doesn't matter as much as the impact. You begin to feel like you're always falling short, and that your best efforts will never be enough. Men often internalize this in a way that creates self-doubt. You might find yourself constantly questioning your choices, replaying conversations, or hesitating before taking action because you fear criticism. What should feel like partnership and support instead becomes judgment and evaluation. Your confidence erodes, and even small decisions feel heavy and uncertain. Toxic advice also serves a deeper purpose: control. When one person constantly critiques under the pretense of guidance, it subtly reinforces the idea that they are the authority in the relationship. Your perspective, knowledge, or preferences become secondary to theirs. Over time, this imbalance affects not only the relationship, but also your sense of independence and identity. You can relate to the feeling of walking on eggshells, always anticipating the next comment or critique. Every action, word, or choice is weighed against an invisible standard set by your partner, and it's exhausting. A healthy relationship should allow room for mistakes, growth, and individuality without constant judgment. Feeling like you're being corrected rather than respected signals that the relationship has moved into toxic territory. Recognizing this pattern is essential. Criticism should never consistently outweigh encouragement or respect. When it does, it's not about improvement, it's about power. If you notice yourself shrinking, hesitating, or doubting your own worth because of someone else's words, it's a clear warning sign that the relationship is eroding your confidence and emotional well-being. 6. You feel alone. Even when you're together. One of the most painful signs of a toxic relationship is the loneliness you feel while being with someone. You're physically present together, but emotionally you're isolated. Conversations feel shallow or dismissive. Your opinions don't carry weight, and your emotional needs are ignored. Over time, this emptiness can be more exhausting than outright conflict because it chips away at the very foundation of intimacy: connection. A relationship should make you feel supported and understood, even during disagreements. But when you constantly feel unheard or emotionally disconnected, it's a warning that your partner is prioritizing their needs and control over genuine closeness. Loneliness in a relationship isn't about being ignored once in a while. It's about habitually feeling isolated in your own life, even when the person you love is right next to you. This disconnect can also manifest subtly. Maybe your partner doesn't engage in meaningful conversations, or when you try to share your feelings, they respond with indifference or change the topic. Small gestures of affection or reassurance are absent, leaving you questioning whether your presence is valued at all. This creates a quiet, persistent tension, an emotional void that no apology or superficial gesture can fill. Here's where a little criticism is necessary. Too often, men tolerate this loneliness, convincing themselves that it's their responsibility to fix the relationship alone. They suppress their own needs, trying harder to earn attention or affection, while the other person continues their pattern of emotional neglect. This isn't resilience, it's self-sabotage. You cannot manufacture emotional intimacy on your own. A healthy relationship requires effort from both sides. Feeling alone while with someone is a clear signal that the relationship dynamic is off balance. When your emotional needs are consistently unmet, it's not just about sadness, it's about recognizing that the partnership is failing in its most basic function: to provide connection, support, and mutual care. Ignoring this pattern won't make it disappear. A relationship should leave you feeling seen, heard, and understood, not isolated and empty. If you find yourself craving companionship and empathy that isn't coming from your partner, it's time to acknowledge the reality. The emotional gap isn't your fault, and it won't close unless both partners are willing to step up. Loneliness in a relationship is toxic, and recognizing it is the first step toward reclaiming your emotional well-being. 7. The relationship is a cycle of drama and apology. Some relationships feel like a constant roller coaster, intense highs followed by crushing lows. In a toxic relationship, this isn't passion. It's a repetitive cycle of drama and apology. Arguments flare over minor issues, tempers spike, and hurtful words are exchanged. Then shortly after, There's a period of calm, apologies are offered, and promises are made. At first, it can feel like love is being rekindled, but over time, the cycle repeats, leaving emotional scars that grow deeper with each iteration. This pattern is exhausting because it keeps you off balance. You're constantly guessing when the next conflict will hit, and even during peaceful moments, a lingering sense of tension remains. Over time, you may start to anticipate conflict rather than enjoy connection. This isn't just stressful, it's damaging to your sense of stability and emotional well-being. A little criticism is important here. Too often men tolerate this cycle, excusing it as just the way she is, or relationships are supposed to have ups and downs. But there's a difference between normal disagreements and repetitive emotional chaos. Accepting constant drama as part of love is a mistake that trains both partners to stay in a toxic pattern. Real intimacy doesn't thrive on fear, guilt, or emotional manipulation. It thrives on respect, trust, and calm, consistent connection. In these relationships, apologies often feel hollow. They are promises without follow-through, meant to reset the situation rather than address the underlying issues. The emotional highs might feel intense, giving brief moments of relief or connection, but they come at the cost of long-term stress and uncertainty. You begin to measure love in cycles rather than in stability, and the pattern slowly erodes your sense of security and self-worth. Recognizing the cycle of drama and apology is critical for your own well-being. If you notice that conflict is predictable, extreme, and unresolved, it's a signal that the relationship is not functioning as a healthy partnership. You deserve a connection where disagreements are resolved constructively, where apologies are sincere and followed by change, and where calm periods aren't just the quiet before the next storm. Tolerating repeated drama teaches both partners that chaos is acceptable, and in the long run, it undermines trust, respect, and the possibility of genuine emotional closeness. 8. You're losing yourself to please them. One of the most dangerous signs of a toxic relationship is when you start losing your own identity to accommodate someone else. It doesn't happen overnight. Slowly, your hobbies, interests, and friendships begin to fade. Decisions that once felt natural and autonomous are now filtered through the lens of keeping your partner happy. Over time, you may realize that the person you once were is becoming a shadow, molded entirely to someone else's expectations. This isn't just about compromise, it's about sacrifice without balance. Healthy relationships involve give and take, where both partners adjust while maintaining their individuality. But in a toxic relationship, the balance tips completely, and one person's desires and needs dominate. You find yourself saying yes to things you don't want to do, canceling plans that matter to you, or avoiding topics that could upset them. Slowly, your personal growth, independence, and confidence erode. Here's where some criticism is necessary. It's easy to fall into the trap of excusing this behavior. You might tell yourself that it's noble to prioritize your partner's happiness, or that compromising this much proves your love. But love should never require erasing yourself. When your identity, values, and passions are continuously compromised, the relationship stops being a partnership and becomes a form of control. Accepting this pattern isn't selflessness, it's self-neglect. Men often fail to recognize the impact because it happens gradually. Social circles shrink, personal goals take a back seat, and even self-expression is muted to avoid conflict. You start measuring your life through your partner's preferences rather than your own. This constant self-adjustment can leave you feeling trapped, resentful, and disconnected from your own life, even if the relationship appears stable on the surface. Recognizing that you're losing yourself is critical for regaining control of your life. Relationships should enhance who you are, not erase it. If you notice that your sense of self is fading, it's a clear warning sign that the dynamic is toxic. Reclaiming your identity, setting boundaries, and asserting your needs are not acts of selfishness. They're acts of self-preservation. True love doesn't demand your erasure. It supports your growth, encourages your individuality, and allows you to thrive as a complete person. At this point, it's clear that toxic relationships aren't just about fights or arguments. They're about slowly losing yourself in a cycle that feels impossible to break. And here's the controversial truth most people won't say out loud. Sometimes the person you love the most is the one hurting you the most. It's not because they're evil, and it's not always about intention. It's about patterns, control, and emotional habits that poison the connection without you realizing it. If any of the signs we've discussed today resonated with you, it's not a coincidence. Feeling drained, dismissed, guilty, alone, or constantly criticized are not minor relationship issues. They're warning signals that the dynamic is unhealthy, and ignoring them could cost you far more than just a few bad days. The harsh reality is that love alone isn't enough to save a toxic relationship. Boundaries, awareness, and self-respect are what truly protect you. I want to hear from you. Share your experiences in the comments, whether you faced subtle manipulation, constant criticism, or the feeling of being invisible while in a relationship. I read every comment personally, and I'll reach out to discuss, guide, and connect with those of you who are struggling. You don't have to go through this alone. Talking about it is the first step to reclaiming your emotional freedom and building relationships that truly empower you. And here's the cliffhanger for the next video. Many men make one critical mistake when they try to leave a toxic relationship. One mistake that almost guarantees they fall back into the same cycle, often with someone worse. In the next video, I'll reveal exactly what that mistake is and how to avoid it, so you can finally break free for good.